Welcome to Advocacy in Motion. We are here each week to give a vision and a voice to nonprofit organizations and individuals making a difference in our community. And before I introduce our guest today, I want to say thank you to our presenting sponsor, Niagara Conservation. If you don't know, Niagara is the leading manufacturer and distributor of water-saving plumbing products. And their new stealth-designed toilets will save up to 60% of water. That means 60% of cost, and that's important to every household, but it's mostly important to the nonprofit affordable housing units and projects they support, including the new Volunteers of America Oaks project in the Oak Cliff district of Dallas. So check out niagaracorp.com for all their new products and how you can save money and support Volunteers of America and their work in the community. So today, my guests are from Big Brothers Big Sisters of Dallas. I want to introduce the president of Dallas, Jenny Harper.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, this is going to be great. And Scott Price. Scott is the advancement officer for Big Brothers Big Sisters.
It's great to be with y'all.
It's great. And so I've got a note here that Big Brothers Big Sisters creates meaningful, supervised matches between adults and youth that have a direct and lasting effect on their lives. Is that in a nutshell? Can you tell me what you guys are about?
That's exactly it in a nutshell. So Big Brothers Big Sisters has been serving the Dallas community for 96 years, and we've been serving nationally for just over 115 years. So we are a long-standing mission, and we have really done one thing that entire time, and that is pair one adult with one child and support them throughout a long-lasting friendship.
All right, and Scott, you are a three-time Big Brother.
Yes.
Tell us how you got involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Yeah, so I got involved because I lost my father at a young age when I was 10 years old. And I didn't realize it until when I became a young adult that how fortunate I was to have men in my life to serve as a role model for me. And then, so when I just figured out how grateful and how fortunate my situation was, I decided I wanted to serve that role for someone else. So back in 2015, I believe, I actually don't remember when I first became a Big, I signed up. I was matched for about 6 months, and then my littlest family moved to California. Little did I know that I wasn't automatically put back into the volunteer pool. So about a year later, I realized, I haven't heard from them in a while. Let me re-engage, and signed up again. It was a match for about 4 years, and that match unfortunately closed right as I joined the staff, actually. And I've been with my third little, Jalen, for just under a year. He's a 13-year-old going into 8th grade.
How do you know, we'll talk about volunteers in a minute and how important they are, but how do you find the kids? Where's that match come from?
It's a great question. So our kids, our word of mouth is our biggest referral. When you've been a part of a community for 96 years, so many families have been touched by our organization. So we get a lot of siblings, we get a lot of big families, referrals. We also partner with schools. So schools will refer children that they identify as benefiting from a mentor. We partner with other nonprofit organizations across Dallas so that, Big Brothers Big Sisters is a preventative organization, and there's so many incredible organizations that are dealing with crisis intervention or meeting immediate needs. And then when they see the need for some more support in their lives, then they'll refer kids to us. Anything I missed, Scott, that you can think of?
I think it's important that, as Jenny mentioned, we are 96 years young here in Dallas, and you can't go anywhere in this city or the greater, I'll say, North Texas, without someone having some kind of connection to our mission, our Big Brothers Big Sisters, whether they're former bigs, former littles, or whether their friends were involved. And I think that just speaks to the importance of the work we do and just the impact of everything.
Now, you are the advancement officer. What is your role? What do you do there?
Yeah, so as the advancement officer, my role is to kind of advance the mission of the agency and to kind of secure the future of the agency through fundraising, through partnerships with other companies and markets and communities. So both, when I go out my number one responsibility is to help find funds to help keep our mission, because for 96 years, we've never been a fee-for-service agency, and that is not going to change. And we're very proud of that. And it's also, if I go into a meeting and I walk out with, I may not walk out with a donation, but I may walk out with an introduction, or I may walk out with a new mentor volunteer. I may walk out with a new member of our brand new Young Professionals Association. So it's just kind of like spreading our footprint within the community, either financially or through volunteerism.
Jenny, you had mentioned partnerships with iHeart and with CBS. How do your partnerships work? How does that work for you?
It goes a lot back to what Scott said. When you've been a part of the community for as long as we have, you meet folks who have been impacted by our mission. So that's a natural way of forming partnerships. Additionally, mentoring is a very natural state. You can talk with folks, they may not have been mentored through Big Brothers Big Sisters, but have experienced mentoring in their lives. So our mission is a draw to many folks, and so they'll reach out to us. But then folks like Scott, our boards, we're out meeting people. Our mission ultimately is connecting people. One of our team members says, connecting hearts with hearts. And so when you're connecting hearts with hearts, you find folks that want to introduce. Your network grows and grows. Think of a drop of water. As you introduce someone and introduce something, you're now a part of our mission. We're sitting here, we're talking, we're sharing our story. All of your listeners are hearing what Big Brothers Big Sisters does and may say, oh, I was impacted by that at one point in my life, or I know someone who was, or I think this person would be a great mentor, or my child needs a mentor. And then we just continue to grow.
Now, as a big brother, tell us some of the things that you do with your littles.
Yeah, so the most important part about our mission is just showing up. And that's really what it is to be a big. So do we do the big events? Yes, we went to the Cotton Bowl this year when Tulane beat USC. We've gone to other sporting events. We've gone to other events, but we also, I pick them up and we go swimming. I pick them up and we go to dinner. I'm going to eat lunch or dinner anyway. Why can't I pick him up and him join me? Because as Jenny has said, and most of our littles don't leave the 1 mile or 2 miles from their house. That's their community. Big Brothers Big Sisters expands their community and takes them to places that they may never have been to. Some have never been to a place where someone comes and takes your order. Mm-hmm. Things like small, like that we take for granted, that we do a couple times a week, daily, whenever, that some of these kids have never even seen something like that.
Okay. I noticed on your website that there are different levels of support you do. There's younger kids, in-school programs. Tell us how that works, a little bit about those programs.
So we operate with 3 primary programs. The first is community-based, and that's what Scott is matched in. And that's where you are matched with a child in your community. We do a 30-minute radius of your home because we don't want transportation and traffic to become a barrier to spending time with your little. And in that program, you go out and do what you guys want to do. It's going to the park, expensive outings, inexpensive outings, extravagant, not extravagant. I mean, it's a mix of it all. Next, we have our site-based programming, and that's where we partner with specific schools in the Metroplex, and the mentoring happens during the day. So a professional often leaves their job, or if they're a stay-at-home parent, they get away, go to the school, and see their little on that school campus. They eat lunch together, work on reading, work on math, play at recess, things like that during the day. Our third program is what's called Mentor 2.0. So I was actually matched in our Mentor 2.0. My mentee, I'm so proud of her, just finished her freshman year at Texas Women's University. We're so proud. She is a first generation college student. She's absolutely incredible. But this program, we are at New Tech High School in Dallas, and we're at Irving High School. And this program is all about that post-secondary plan. What do you want to do when you graduate from high school? Our kids either go on to 4-year education, 2-year education, enlist in the military. We have a lot of entrepreneurs. We have a lot of kids working straight out. We partner with Dallas colleges. We partner with Year Up. We partner with Scholar Shot. We want to make sure that we are providing as many services and resources to those children who would be the first in their families to pursue an education after high school. And so this whole program is geared towards preparing them for that next step in success after high school.
Very good.
Jeanette, will you share some of the successes from that program in the last 2 years?
It's unbelievable. So 97% of our kids are either enrolled, enlisted in the military, or working right after high school graduation. At New Tech High School, for the past 2 years, the valedictorian of that class has been a part of our program. At Irving High School, our kids are earning scholarships at a greater rate than some of their other peers in the AVID program in other high schools. AVID is Advancement Through Individual Determination. That's the program we work with at Irving High School. Our kids are graduating at 98%. So they are going on, they're doing exciting things. We've been tracking this data since '06, and it's remained consistent. So we know that having that mentor helps them overcome barriers, helps them make that plan, kind of clears the weeds and helps them see that path forward.
Your mentors obviously are doing a great job with these kids. How do you find your volunteers? Are there any qualifications they have to have as far as becoming a volunteer, becoming a big brother?
Sure. First and foremost, we do require our mentors to be 18 or older, because we do run background checks and we do reference checks, we do interviews, so we want to get to know them. To be matched in our Mentor 2.0 program, we do prefer a college education experience because that's what we're working towards, but it is not mandatory. If there is a professional who has been in their field, or they have a certification or an associate's degree, any of that is appropriate to help these kids plan towards the next phase. Just to kind of say why that's important, my mentee, for example, one of the biggest things we talked about this year is, how do I spend my time between classes when I'm at school? Because I have downtime and I'm not used to having that. How do I make that productive? And I could share my experience with her. And that was the extent of it. And it was that easy and that fantastic. Other than that, the only other qualifications are you cannot have committed a crime against a child or another person. So we do screen for child safety first and foremost.
All right. Well, very good. Tell us, we'll come back to this many times. Tell us how people can get in touch with you to volunteer, to donate, and then websites and that sort of thing.
Yeah, we can go, if you go to our website, which is www.bbbstx.org. There's links at the top, icons on the top for donate, as well as to get more information and to volunteer.
All right, very good. Well, we'll take a little break here and recognize one of our other sponsors that makes this program possible is Piranha Haven. Piranha Haven's this wonderful spiritual gift shop in downtown Richardson, and you'll find artwork there from local artists. You'll find merchandise from free trade villages. You'll find incense, crystals, and that sort of merchandise. But also on the fourth Saturday of every month, they hold a psychic fair. And you can go to their website, piranhahaven.com, and see all that they do there and register for the psychic fair, or just drop in on the fourth Saturday of every month. And if you go in and you see Alex, tell her Dad said hi. It's a family business, and if you're the baby, that would be Sky, our newest grandchild, so she'll be running the shop soon. So it's a family place, so stop in and say hello to everybody. So now, you talked about fundraising events. It's an important part of every nonprofit organization and has to be done. Tell us some of the things you have coming up, some events, and some of the ways that your people can help as far as fundraising. You
can go to our website, bbbstx.org, to just make a general donation. We have three signature events every year, 3 signature fundraising events, and then we have a great partnership with the Black Tie Dinner, where we are one of the 15 to 20 beneficiaries of the funds raised that evening. But our next two big events, one of them is our AMX Clay Shoot coming up on August the 11th. To learn more about becoming a sponsor, becoming a shooter, and so forth. It's a great event, happens every August. It raises funds for our Bigs Outdoors program, where we teach about safety within firearms and archery, as well as fishing and outdoor events. And then our next big signature event after that would be our Big Black Tie Ball, our gala, which is on November the 11th. And that website is bigblacktieBall.com.
All right, very good. And where's that held? Where's that?
That's going to be held at the Frontiers of Flight Museum.
Oh, very good.
So
That's
they're there
always
by
a
Love
fun
Field.
place.
We were there last year, and it was an amazing venue and a great event. And we're really looking forward to this year's event.
I noticed that one of the notes we had that you talked about impact and prevention. How does that, what is that? Can you explain that a little bit and the importance of that?
Absolutely. So, and I also think too, it's really important when we talk about our fundraising events and why those are so key to our mission, which then leads into our prevention talk, is that every dollar that we raise at those events goes to supporting our kids in our program, right? So that means finding them a volunteer, screening that volunteer for child safety. One of the most important pillars of Big Brothers Big Sisters is social capital. So what I mean by social capital is you've probably heard the phrase, it's not what you know, but who you know that can make you successful in life. So Big Brothers Big Sisters is really committed to building networks. Scott mentioned earlier that so many of our kids have never been out of a 2 to 4 block radius of their home. They don't know the possibilities that are out there. And so when we have Bigs Outdoors, we have kids that maybe have never been fishing, have never fired a firearm before, or had a healthy experience with a firearm. And we're able to bring that to them. We're able to connect them with other bigs, other littles, other industries. So all of those fundraising dollars that we raise go to putting on all these great experiences for our kids. And so when we talk about prevention, what that means is we are getting ahead of the statistics, if you will. It's how do you help these kids, number one, build a toolbox to overcome the hurdles that are in front of them. Social media, none of us have our phones on the table, which is fantastic, but you would rarely find a teenager that does not have their phone in their hand, on their table, touching their body at some point in time. And when kids are exposed to that phone, they're exposed to a world that may or may not be real. A mentor can come in and give them life experiences that are real and helps them get out there and see the possibilities. Gives them someone to talk to about what they might see on that social media if they have questions. There's a lot of violence, there's a lot of confusion out there, a lot of information that kids don't know how to interpret in their limited experience. And that's what their mentor comes in and talks to them about. And when a kid has that toolbox to overcome those hurdles, here's the math equation we believe. Emotional well-being. Someone cares about me, and I have someone to talk to about things, plus social capital. I have the network that's behind me to support me, to see the possibilities are out there of what I can become, equals achievement. And that achievement can be graduating high school, that achievement can be getting into college, getting their first job, an internship. When they are supported through it, that's when they're able to achieve their God-given potential.
How many kids and volunteers are involved? You mentioned this earlier.
So we're at about 1,800, just north of 1,800 kids and volunteers right now in a match, a one-to-one match. I'll share with you though that prior to the pandemic, we were north of 2,000 kids that we were serving. That may not seem like a big difference, but to us it really is, because we have a waiting list of just over 300 kids that have raised their hand and said that they want a mentor in our program. And so really what we're working to overcome is this new lifestyle that so many are living post-pandemic. A lot of folks are working from home, they're in different spots. Now we're trying to transition back to work. People are figuring out their life kind of flow. So we're also trying to learn from our community. How do we encourage our folks to continue to mentor these kids? Like Scott said, he's going to eat dinner anyway. Why not bring your little with you? I hate grocery shopping. That is my least favorite responsibility of adulthood. But why not take your little with you to the grocery store, find out what they like to eat, teach them what you like to eat, teach them about budgeting, teach them about grocery shopping. There are food deserts in our community where there are not grocery stores. That might be a new experience for them to get to walk around one of the bigger ones. So thinking about those little experiences that can make the biggest difference that you don't even know is going to impact that kid.
I think that what you guys are doing, you've been doing it for so many years. I know Big Brothers Big Sisters is a national organization, and I know you have various entities in the state of Texas. How do they work together? Are you independent from Tarrant County, or do you work together on projects? How does that work?
Yes, and both.
Very good answer.
So we'll start with Big Brothers Big Sisters is a national organization. We have about 250 affiliates across the country. But we each have our own 501c3. And so we each operate, national sets guidelines for child safety and best practices, because we don't want to lose that 117 years of knowledge and experience. But we are a part of what's called Big Brothers Big Sisters Lone Star. Lone Star is one 501c3 that serves Dallas, Tarrant, Houston, Abilene and Stephenville, and then Wichita Falls. Now, so I've actually worked for the agency. I'll celebrate 21 years in September. I've been here a long time, so I've seen us through a lot of change. We used to operate, so when I first started, I oversaw programming in all of our markets. About 2016, our current CEO, Pierce Bush, regionalized us. And what that means is that I serve as the leader of our Dallas market. We have a leader in Tarrant, Houston, Wichita Falls, and Abilene. So what that does is it really allows us to get to know our communities better. Scott and I can really get to know Dallas and partner in Dallas, and what Dallas kids need might be different than what Tarrant kids need, and might even be different than what Abilene kids need. And so it allows us to really keep our fundraising dollars in Dallas and our programming specific to the goals of our community. However, because we are one organization, we're able to operate more efficiently. We can also do programming that is just generalized to all kids. We can work together. We can share best practices. We share one accounting team, one HR team, one IT team, so that we don't have that added expense. So it's the best of both worlds. You get the efficiency of a really big organization, but the personalized touch of knowing your community better.
You had mentioned, and we were all impacted by the pandemic, and it had to be tough, specifically for such a personalized service that you have for you guys. And obviously you fought through it, and you've got to be thrilled to death that you can now do what you're doing again with the kids. And we applaud you for that, because that was a tough time for everyone. And and you're still going strong. What have I missed? We've talked about a lot of things. Tell Scott, is there anything that you'd like to add or share?
Yeah, I would like to mention that a couple things. One of them is, you asked earlier about the requirements to be a mentor, and Jenny went over like the handbook ones, which you have to follow. But we're not an episodic volunteer experience. We're looking for a commitment, and that does scare some people. And I just, as one who's been through the process 3 times, it's not scary. It seems bigger than it is. And so don't be scared. That's the thing. It's once you meet your little and you connect, which it does take some time, especially if you're matched with a teenager. It's once you click, it's one of the best experiences you'll ever have. And as a big, a lot of the times I think I get more out of it than the little. And if you support our mission but are still a little scared about jumping into the water of being a mentor, we do have a Young Professionals Association, which is a place where you can dip your toe into the water, get a little feel for us. And that website is www.bbbsdallasyp.com.
Okay.
So I'd like to add to what Scott would say too, because I'll tell my story also. Like I said, I've been here 20 years. Honestly, when I joined the agency, I was in graduate school. I met my husband, I had my children's. I worked for the agency for 10 years before I became a mentor because I was afraid that I didn't have the time. Mentor 2.0 was the answer for me because in Mentor 2.0, it's an email conversation over a secure platform once a week, and then once a week is an in-person, or once a month is an in-person event. So once a week via my computer, once a month in person at her school. I could make that commitment. That was not scary to me. Before I became matched, though, I was a donor to our agency because I knew if I didn't feel like I had the time, I could at least fiscally sponsor the person who did have the time to make a difference in that kid. And both are important. We're really proud that there is no fee for service for our kids we mentor and their families. We raise every dollar. So if you think about that, 96 years in Dallas, every single dollar for every single child served has been donated. We are a part of the community, and this community has sustained us. And then when I did become a mentor, it is a 1-year commitment, but I've now been matched to her for 4.5 years. And it feels like the blink of an eye. And she is my family, and I adore her. And it goes faster than you would ever believe because it's so natural and simple once you get into it.
My second match was, we were together for 4 years. And I'm about to hit the 1-year mark with Jalen, and I don't foresee it closing.
Yeah.
That is great. And I noticed, too, that you had note that you really need more men to step up and volunteer. How did they get, again, let's say, how to get in touch with you? Let's make sure we get that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so we, as Jenny mentioned, we have over 300 littles on our wait list. Most of those are little brothers looking for their mentor. You can go to our website, www.bbbstx.org. At the top where it says be a big or volunteer.
You can also sign up for an information session. We have a really fantastic recruitment director of recruitment. She's been with the agency almost as long as I have. We've worked together the entire time. So she also knows the ins and outs, and she'll answer your questions. We'll help you understand what program is the best fit for you based on your time, your interests, your geography, your talents. I really am going to push a big plug for Mentor 2.0 right now, though, especially at Irving High School. We have an opportunity to match 150 kids in that 9th grade class with a mentor. And just think about the magnitude of 150 young folks who are going to graduate with a plan and just the generational change that happens from their success. And like I said, it is probably I'm going to say easiest time commitment of our program. Is that fair?
100%.
And again, it goes by with the blink of an eye. It's very structured. We offer a curriculum. I will be really candid again. My mentee and I followed the curriculum at first, and then we became such great friends. It became very organic. We did not need that curriculum to really structure our conversations once we got to know each other. But 150 kids. How great that every one of those students gets a mentor by Christmas.
It takes a little to do big in the world.
Well, we want these podcasts. We're really pleased that our podcast now is shared just about any place someone can get a podcast. We talk about iHeart, Spreaker, YouTube, and we want to encourage people to go to wherever they get their podcast, subscribe and share so we can get so many more people to hear your message and all the messages that we have for our nonprofits. And that's the way we can help you grow and help the audience can help grow is by sharing your message with everyone they know. So we appreciate that.
Well, and to that point, what's fantastic about Big Brothers Big Sisters is if one of your audience members does not live in DFW, does not even live in Texas, there are 250, I think it's 256 affiliates.
That sounds right.
Across our country. And so searching for Big Brothers Big Sisters, you can also search for Big Brothers Big Sisters of America if you're looking for one in your own state and don't know how to get to them. But the need is across the country. So we encourage research for yourself, research for a friend, become a mentor.
Go ahead, Scott.
And all of our mentors are not in it alone. Right. We have caseworkers who are certified social workers, who are in the so it's a team effort. It's we say it's a 4-pronged seat. You got your little, your big, your match support specialist, your caseworker, and the parent. Those four people make up the team that makes sure that the match is successful.
Oh, that's good to know.
And then we partner, Dallas team alone, we partner with more than 80 corporations and organizations and faith communities and schools to put our entire network behind every kid we serve, to make sure they have the opportunity and the resources to see what sparks their interest and what they might become.
And that's important too, as far as the whole group goes. So not only are we looking for volunteers, but for corporate support.
Absolutely. Yes.
Come in and work. And with this podcast here, we're talking about things you can do with your littles or whatever. I want to give you an invitation to bring them here anytime. We'll work with you guys. Let them watch how the podcast is put together, meet the studio people here. Dave French Studios does our podcast for us, and does quite a few here, as a matter of fact. So I think it'd be a fun for us to have some kids and their big brothers and big sisters join us to watch, see how all this comes together. So we'll talk later, as they say.
Awesome.
And see if we can put that on somebody's calendar to come
We
visit
will
with
take
us.
you up on that. And
It'll be
as
fun.
your listeners are out there, what can we introduce? We're sitting in a beautiful room for those who don't get to see the behind the scenes, and so many cameras and cords and talents and skills and interview skills. And I'm excited to bring our kids here to see, and those who aspire. But think about, if you're watching this from your home, your desk, your community, what are you passionate about, and how can we help other kids see that? Because unless they see it, they can't be it. How do we help them see what is possible for them?
Oh, I think that's great. Well, I want to thank you both for being here, for giving us the opportunity to share your story. And I want to thank our sponsors, Niagara Conservation and Piranha Haven. And like I said, we're available wherever you see your podcast, so please subscribe and share so more people can learn about the great work you guys are doing. Thank you again.
Thank you.